welcome to NTV English News Bulletin. I am Bhavana Casey. In the beginning, we have the headlines. Government decides to take initiatives to heal the national economy, also pledged to make efforts towards fostering good governance and development. China ending COVID quarantine for foreign arrivals from January 8, measure latest in series of restrictions to be lifted as China abandons its zero COVID policy. At least 28 deaths reported in western New York alone as monster winter storm continues to batter people trapped in their cars for over 2 days. And Lumini All-Stars chasing target of 134 runs in its match against Welcome back. You are with the NTV English News Bulletin. Now we have the news in details. The government is set to address the hassles the citizens are facing in obtaining the passport. The government has decided to address long queues of service seekers at Tripureshwar-based Department of about the hassles surfaced in the delivery of the passport and the license services. Sharing the cabinet decisions, Prime Minister the House said the cabinet decided to end the compulsion to stay in serpentine queue for passport and driving licenses. He further informed that the cabinet univocally held a resolution to deliver governance to make service delivery for the citizens easier and smooth. According to the Prime Minister, the cabinet also had a decision to call a meeting of the House of Representatives. He further said that the government had come up with a resolution to resolve overall problems surfaced in the country. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China has congratulated the newly formed government of Nepal and expected coordination and collaboration on strategic issues, including the Belt and Road Initiative. In a regular said, China would continue its long friendly cooperation with Nepal, stating that China will maintain friendly relations and collaboration with the new government. Ning hoped of further strategic collaboration and cooperation between Nepal and China on various issues, including the Belt and Road Initiative. The minimum temperature in Kathmandu Valley dropped to 4.4 degrees Celsius this morning. This temperature is the lowest recorded so far this year. The temperature of Kathmandu Valley was 4.4 degrees Celsius at 5:45 a.m. this morning, according to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology. The minimum temperature on Monday was 5.5 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the weather is likely to witness partial to normal rain and a snowfall in some places due to the influence of low pressure. The Department of Hydrology and Meteorology also has requested all to take necessary precautions to protect themselves from the cold. With this update, time to go for a short break, but still to come we have. Welcome back. You are with NTV English News Bulletin. Now we have the updates from the international front. China will scrap quarantine for travelers from 8th January, officials said, marking the biggest shift from the country's zero COVID policy. The measure is the latest in series of restrictions to be lifted as China abandons work and study visas were seeking to visit the family. But it comes as China struggles with the virus's ferocious spread in the wake of restrictions being lifted. Reports say hospitals are overwhelmed and elderly people are dying. Since March 2020, all passengers arriving in China have had to undergo mandatory centralized quarantine. At least 28 people have died in western New York State, most of them in Buffalo, as monster winter storm continues to batter North America. A state official said some people had been trapped in cars for more than 2 days during what was probably the worst storm of their lifetime. Meteorologists warn up to 9 more inches of snow are expected in parts of the state through Tuesday. The storm stretching from Canada to the Mexican border has killed. He said that the situation is difficult and painful in Donbass, with Russia throwing all the available resources to make some progress. Zelensky went on to commend the 10th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade for the capture of occupants in Donetsk region, adding that it will help liberate more Ukrainians from captivity. He also talked about an extended meeting on the results of the visit to the United States and the implementation of the agreements, and mentioned a phone conversation with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. With this update, time to go for a short break again, but still to come we have. Welcome back. You are with NTV English News Bulletin. Now two more updates from the international front, where North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un is presiding over another big meeting of the country's ruling Workers' Party in the last week of the year, state media reported early Tuesday. The Central Committee is reviewing the work and events of 2022 and will lay out plans and priorities for 2023. It's similar to last year, when the same type of big party meeting was held in the last week of 2021, culminating with North Korean state media highlighting Kim's speech at the meeting. Earlier in his rule, Kim Jong-un brought back the tradition of New Year's address, which his grandfather Kim Il-sung had used, but his father Kim Jong-il had not continued. In recent years, Kim Jong-un has used meetings of the ruling Workers' Party of Korea as a platform for his annual law. There were 120 femicides, cases of women killed because of their gender. Mexico saw more than 1,000 femicides last year, second only to Brazil. In Latin America, and on average 10 women or girls are killed daily. So far this year, 9/11 has received over 52,000 calls related to gender-based violence in the state of Mexico alone. Experts and advocates say the rampant killings and history of femicide in Mexico can be attributed to deep-rooted cultural machismo, systematic gender inequality, and latent domestic violence. But also to a justice system riddled with problems. Police officials who won't take reports about missing women, clumsy or non-existent investigations, prosecutors and judges who re-victimize women. As 2023, a year of the water rabbit in Chinese horoscope, is coming, Russians become massively interested in giving a symbolic gift to their loved ones, a pet. In Moscow, the demand for domestic rabbits increased 10 times by the end of the year, according to Moscow 24, quoting the head of one of the animal nurseries. An employee at a zoo said that last time 12 years ago, before the previous rabbit New Year coming, there was a rabbit boom in a zoo when people were massively giving out their new pets after the end of the holiday. Chinese astrology, represented by 12 zodiac animals, is widely spread and popular in Russia. Two matches are being held today under the country's first franchise cricket league, Nepal T20 League. Lumini All-Stars is playing against the Pokhara Avengers in the first match of the day underway at Tiu Cricket Ground in Kirtipur. Lumini, that chose to field first after winning the toss, is now chasing the target of 134 runs. It has so far scored 70 runs with loss of 4 wickets in 12 overs. Pokhara garnered 133 runs after losing 9 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. In the other match of the day, slated to begin at 1 p.m., Kathmandu Knights is all set to lock horns with Janakpur Royals. Stories. Government decides to take initiatives to heal the national economy, also pledges to make efforts towards fostering good governance and development. China ending COVID quarantine for foreign arrivals from January the 8th, major latest in series of major restrictions to be lifted as China abandons its zero-COVID policy. At least 20 deaths reported in western New York alone as monster winter storm continues to batter people trapped in their cars for over 2 days. Lumini All-Stars chasing target of 134 runs in its match against Pokhara Avengers in T20 League. Kathmandu Knights to clash with Janakpur Royals in other match. Well, that's all we have in this edition of Time Ahead, and do stay tuned with us to catch the latest news updates and other programs. Namaste.